women who have chosen to go back to work are often the most productive, the most efficient, and very motivated. You know, I know as a mother returning to work, I've returned to work because I love what I do and I want to do it. And my brain is just saying, get me out of the house, get me doing stuff. And I want to go home and be a mum, but I want to go to work and be a career woman.
Welcome to Jane Jackson Careers, a podcast that takes your career to the next level. Here's your host, Jane Jackson, author of Amazon Careers bestseller, Navigating Career Crossroads.
Well, hello and welcome back to my Careers podcast, where I interview fascinating professionals who've made amazing career changes or have been very successful launching their entrepreneurial ventures. Now, I'm really happy today because I'm holidaying actually in London, and I have just taken the train down to Worthing to meet with the founder of Talented Ladies Club, Hannah Martin. I've had her on the show twice before, and the business is growing exponentially. It's absolutely amazing, and she's helping lots of women who are transitioning into their own businesses and need the support. And so let's welcome Hannah back onto the show and find out what she's been up to.
Thank you, Jane.
It's lovely to be here.
Lovely to see you.
Before we actually have a really nice smoked salmon lunch, we'll do this podcast. So tell me, what have you been up to? What's Talented Ladies Club doing at the moment?
I should say it's growing enormously. We have about 68,000 people a month on the site now. We've grown a membership club. And we've had some one-off online products. We do a Twitter course called Twitter Tune-Up, and we do a course called Back to Work You Love for women who've taken a career break and they want to resume their careers. And now we're looking at 2017 and planning the site. So the big thing for us right now is we're planning a redesign. The site is, we designed it 4 years ago, so we're looking at how we can improve that to make sure that the site design and navigation fits how people actually use it. And we're also planning some really exciting things for 2017, including a new startup club, which will be a 12-month program for people who have a business idea but don't know what to do next or how to turn it into a business. And it takes them month by month through a process that shows them how to do it.
How exciting. That's really good. It sounds like me. I've got a business and I'd like to grow it even more.
So you see, now we've got the Growth Club. So we're also we're going to launch that in January, but later in the year we're going to launch the Growth Club, which is for people like you. And it's the sort of position that we're in right now, that you have a business, you've grown it from a startup to a particular size, but then to take it to the next level is quite a big leap. You almost sort of plateau in your business and you get comfortable with where you are, and then you get a bit bored with where you are, but you don't really know what decisions to make to take it, what direction to take, first of all, and then what decisions you need to take to get there. So the Growth Club will be tackling people at that stage and helping them get past that difficult sort of between, I guess it's the teens of the business. You've had your baby and toddler years and early childhood, and now you're ready to grow up.
Yeah, so often when you're running a business, you do tend to get stuck at a certain level. I certainly was stuck 3 years ago, and then I took a number of steps to grow the business, and it's going really well. And now I've come to another plateau. But before we talk about the Growth Club and that new side, let's just find out a bit more about your existing offerings. Because now, what is this Twitter growth strategy training program?
It's Twitter Tune-Up. It's a 2-week course. It's online, and we open it up every couple of months or so. And it basically shows businesses who are either they want to go on Twitter, they're not on it already, or they're already on Twitter, but they don't really get it. And I've been there. When we first went on Twitter, I didn't really understand how it worked and wasn't using it terribly well. And I hired a consultant to teach me. And as soon as she did and explained things, I just got it. And then when I got it, I flew, and we acquired 10,000 followers or 11,000 followers, I think it was, within a year. And now we're at 32,000. But Twitter is one of those things that you just need to understand. It's almost like learning a language and becoming fluent in it. So what Twitter Tune-Up does is it takes you from the basics of getting your profile right, because in order to attract the right followers, you need to have the right profile. And that's a basic mistake I see a lot of people making. So from the basics of your profile, right through to planning your strategy, building your audience, learning how to write tweets that will get engagement, will get you sales, will get you traffic to your site, through to creating a system and automating it. So you can, like us, we spend half an hour a day on Twitter, and that is it. We send out hundreds of tweets a week. We've got 32,000 followers. It's growing all the time, and we spend half an hour a day on it. So I teach you all of that and how to set up a very, very simple system.
That sounds fantastic. Actually, it's so hard on Twitter because I've been on it for a while and was wondering, how do I get engagement? I'm not getting engagement because I get people following and people are liking and occasionally they share. But I felt like it's too much almost like a sales effort, and I'm not getting the engagement so that I can get to know people. But actually today on the train, it was quite funny. I just tweeted that I'm on the train down to Worthing and I feel like the girl on the train, because I read the book and I love the book so much. And there was someone who I worked with about a year ago who I didn't even know was following me. He goes, I remember the train and the tube in London. I don't miss it at all. So I just tweeted back to him as well. This is the engagement that I want. So what I've realized is actually not so much all about careers all the time, but having a little bit of me in it and what I'm doing, and then mixing it with whatever programs I have, or career advice, or an inspirational meme, or whatever. I think that's probably the key. Would you say?
Absolutely. Being personal on there is really important, but also it's just talking to people. Think about Twitter as having a conversation. If you go to a party and you stood in the corner and you didn't talk to anyone and you just sat there with your head on your phone, looking unapproachable, no one's going to talk to you, and you'll go home and you'll say, what a miserable bunch of unfriendly people. But if you go to that same party and you walk up to someone and say, hello, I'm Jane, what do you do? Or isn't it a lovely evening? They'll talk back to you, and Twitter's no different. One really, really quick and simple way, if you want to build engagement and build relationships, is spend 5 minutes a day, go on your home feed, just scroll down it and retweet people's photos and just reply to them. If someone says, I can't wait for my first morning coffee, you can reply and say, same here, I've just got mine. It's really as simple as that. Just initiate conversations with people. And before you know it, you start to build relationships and you're just seen as someone who's friendly. It's that simple.
Actually, it's so true. We have to share this story, Hannah, of how we met, because it was about 3 years ago.
Yes,
yeah, 3 years ago. I was walking along from Bondi to Bronte with one of my daughters, and it was a beautiful day. It was summer in Sydney and it was just gorgeous. So I took a picture, and it was my daughter and myself actually at the beach, and I tweeted and I put a hashtag of, I think, beach, sun, sea, whatever it was. And then someone liked it and retweeted it. And I think maybe tagged you in it. I wasn't quite sure exactly how we ended up conversing.
They just retweeted it, and I saw it, and it appeared in my feed because they retweeted it.
Yeah, and then you said something.
I replied.
Yeah, you replied, and then I replied. And I remember that night was so funny because we kept tweeting each other, and my husband was saying, what are you doing? I said, I met someone on Twitter. It's really quite fun. And, she used to live in Hong Kong, and I told her I'm Eurasian, and she knows all these people, who are very much like me and other Eurasians. And it was quite interesting. And then after that, it was really just because we had that common ground that I finally asked, what is it that you do? And found out that you have Talented Ladies Club, which sounded so interesting. And one thing led to another. And next thing, I had you on my podcast talking about your career journey. And here I am now in Worthing. And it's kind of a little bit sunny, but we're at Worthing by the sea. So it's lovely. Okay, so you've got the Twitter course, which is great. And then you had the other one, which is
Back to Work You Love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And what and how does that work?
So that's another online course. It's aimed at women who had a career break to raise a child, or not necessarily to raise a child. One woman I spoke to had taken time out. She was helping her mum who was sick. But then, so you've had a career break and you want to go back into work, but you're lacking in confidence. You may feel your job skills are rusty. This is probably sounding very familiar to you.
You may feel like I do all the time. Yes.
Job skills are rusty. You don't really know what's out there or how to get it. And you're also unsure whether actually you want to return to exactly what you left anyway, because you've changed as a person. The first module is all about, it's not even about job hunting. It's about working out who you are now, what you love doing, what are you great at, what gets you out of bed in the morning, what gets you fired up. So it takes you from that, and then we go through to the barriers that are holding you back, lack of confidence, guilt, a massive female problem as well. all these things that we speak to a lot of women and they talk about, that maybe stop them just going out and looking for the things they love doing. And then we teach them job hunting strategies. So there's that as well.
That sounds good. It's very similar really to my 7 Steps Careers program, but your focus really is getting women who have taken a little bit of a break, perhaps because they're having children, and actually it affects them so much, because I know a lot of women who feel like because they've returned to work, they're not taken quite as seriously as they were before, and that can be quite a challenge. Or else maybe there's a redundancy when they come back from maternity leave, which can be a worry, or else they've just realized that they need a bit more work-life balance because they want the flexibility to be able to be a good mum as well. And it's really hard to find something that's just right. And you experience that a little bit too,
absolutely. Yes. Yeah. No, I do. But actually, women who have chosen to go back to work are often the most productive, the most efficient, and very motivated. I know as a mother returning to work, I've returned to work because I love what I do and I want to do it. And my brain is just saying, get me out of the house, get me doing stuff. And I want to go home and be a mum, but I want to go to work and be a career woman. And I don't have time to spend half an hour on picking last night's drunken escapades anymore. If I'm in at work and I know I've got 6 hours that I'm in the office for, like we do here, I have an office in town, and I drop my kids off at school, I walk straight to the office, I go from the office to school, and then I come home. Those hours I'm in the office, I don't even stop for lunch. I just plough through because they're so precious. And I've got so much I want to get done that I know I can't afford to slack off. And I know many working mums who are very similar.
Yeah. I'm so glad you've got those 2 courses, because they sound great. And then what about your membership site, Talented Ladies Club?
So we've got Kickstart. So Kickstart at the moment is a sort of library style membership program. So you join it, and as soon as you join, you have access to, I think it's like 130 workbooks. It's loads of stuff there. And it's great because it has lots of content. But for me, so we've run it now for about 1.5 years in total. We did a beta version and we launched the Kickstart last September. The problem I have with it is that it doesn't really take women on a journey. You have to be motivated when you join it, and you have to know what you want to work on at this point in time and find those things out for it, and then know what you want to work on next. And I think what would benefit me if I was in the position that our members are in is having a guided program, because I feel a bit lost, and I actually think joining a club when you get 130 workbooks could be overwhelming. And you might join it and dip in for a bit and then think, I don't know what to do next. I don't even know which one to look at first. So what I've done is I've taken the content there and restructured it into a 12-month program, and also putting into it exercises that you have to do as you go along. And I'm going to take people through in cohorts. So it's only going to open every 2 months. And then people will join, and you join as a group, and those are the people that you go through that journey with, and you share that journey with those people. And the content is decided to take you on a very specific pathway so that you do make progress, and we feed it to you in an order that really works. So the Startup Club really is sort of Kickstart on steroids, really. It's just taking that idea, and rather than just sort of leaving you to find your own path, it's showing you a path to take.
That sounds like a really good concept, because having a staggered intake, and in a way it sounds like you're going to be building a community of people who all start about the same time, and they're on that same journey, and they're learning about the same things at the same level, and they can actually help each other as they go along. And probably even after they've finished the 12-month journey with you, they will remain as a really good network of support for each other to carry on. So how does this actually work? So someone would sign up for it,
yes, and
then what happens?
So they sign up for it. There will be the online community which they're part of, and there'll be actually 2. They will have a private group for their particular cohort that just they are members of. And then there will be the larger sort of private Facebook group for everyone who's on that program, no matter what stage they're in. So they have access to both of those. But then so they'll join up and then they'll just begin the journey. They'll join up, and then on the first of the month that their course starts, they will get access to the first month's content and the first month's exercises. There's always live coaching calls during the month, so they can get they've got questions. There's the opportunity within our platform to ask questions directly to us anytime they like anyway. But we'll also
that's available every day,
all the time. So we use a learning platform that has a facility where you can ask questions and we can answer them for you. There's they can also ask in the Facebook group, and we'll do, like I say, a live coaching call where we will be available and they can come on there and they can ask us directly if they've got any problems.
And those coaching calls will be for the group?
Yes.
Are you limiting the number of people who can be in each intake?
I'm not sure yet. I don't know. I haven't decided that.
Because that would be quite interesting. Because say if you have, I don't know, if it's 20 or 50 people, it depends on the capacity really. But certainly it would be good to have a group. Because I've been on like a business incubator program in the past, and we had about 40 to 50 people. Fantastic, because that's small enough that everyone can actually get to know each other and still interact quite easily. I guess, the smaller you make it, then the more intimate it will be. But certainly having more people, I think, would be great, because people come from all different walks of life and experience, and they can really share that. And then you start to build that community.
Absolutely.
And then as the years go by and this becomes a huge success, then you'll have a community of thousands of people all assisting each other.
Absolutely.
Well, that would be the plan, won't it? Yeah. So there'll be webinars?
Yes.
Is that how the coaching calls work? Yeah.
Webinars,
And so that'll be interactive webinars for the coaching calls, where they can ask questions anytime. Is that like a chat portal, or how are you going to work?
It's within, so we use a learning platform that all the content is in, and it's great. It's a one-stop shop. So you go on there, you click on the module you're working on, you open up the exercises, you can download the printables, you can watch videos within it. So there's video training as well. And there's also a discussion. For every module has a discussion option. So you click on that and it allows you to ask questions and initiate a discussion.
Fantastic. I mean, that's a really comprehensive support. What a great initiative. Yeah, well done, Hannah. I think that's very exciting. So if someone wants to find out more about this, what do they need to do?
If they're on our mailing list, then it's quite easy. I'll be emailing them in the new year with details.
And how do they get on your mailing list?
If you go to our site, there's a banner on there, and I think at the moment what we're offering is free ideas to build your mailing list, so free freebie ideas. So if you click on that, you'll get the freebie, but you also join our mailing list as well.
Fantastic. And it's talentedladiesclub.com.
That's correct.
Yes, I'll have that on my show notes.
Brilliant.
Thank
you
my
very
podcast
much.
on janejacksoncoach.com/podcast, and you will be able to find Hannah and all of her links plus her Twitter handle, and I think that you should follow Hannah's Twitter as well. It's Talented Ladies.
Yes,
at Talented Ladies on Twitter, because there's a lot of valuable advice that she's always providing as well. So thank you, Hannah. I can't wait for us to have lunch. We've been to Marks and Spencer's, and we've got some really nice smoked salmon and pork pies for me. I don't think Hannah's
I won't be having those.
But thank you so much for having me here in your beautiful home in Worthing.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, bye. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. You can get a free audiobook download and free 30-day trial at audibletrial.com/Jane Jackson Careers. There are over 180,000 book titles to choose, so give it a go and get your free audiobook today from audibletrial.com/Jane Jackson Careers.
You've been listening to Jane Jackson Careers. Sign up to receive regular career advice at janejacksoncoach.com.